Amen. This is Mike Sallin with another Men's Ministry Moment. Thank you for joining me as we look at insights, ideas, and information regarding ministry to men. In this episode, I want to talk to you about targeting your men. The ministries of most churches rarely, if ever, have events that center around men. I've even heard of a church that stated we don't need a formalized ministry to men. But interestingly, whether they have a formalized ministry to men or not, they have one. They just don't realize it. The church will either tell the men they are valuable and care about them or tell them they are not valuable. Some churches will intentionally target the men because they know that as the man goes, so goes the family, and so goes the church body. One such church is Mecklenburg Community Church in Charlotte, North Carolina, whose senior pastor, Dr. James Emery Wright, was targeting men as one of their 8 strategic decisions. He states that these decisions have proven to be tactical in serving their mission of the church. And in their description of targeting men in their 8 decisions, the church states, and I quote, "At MEC, we unashamedly target men in our outreach, in our messages, in, almost everything. We have become convinced that years of experience that if you get the man, you get everyone else within his orbit, specifically his wife and his children." What does that mean to target men? It means you think about the male sensibilities in terms of music and message, vocabulary, and style. And one of the most frequent things we hear from women is, "My husband loves this church. I could never get him to church before, but now he comes even when I don't. And she will go where he wants to go. Get him, you get her. Get him and her, you get the family. It's as simple as that." Unquote. It appears that Dr. White and the Met get it. If you want to reach the complete family, you need to target the men intentionally. Churches historically have ministries that speak to children, youth, ladies, even families as a whole. Still, they have rarely ministries that speak directly into the hearts and minds of the individual man. During one of the meeting times with my mentor, Jeff Katsaya, he shared about a visit to a church where he spoke to the men. As he was touring the church campus, he came across a table in the church's vestibule. He found a small wire basket with brochures that provided information about key ministries of the church on the table. The brochures in the individual baskets were on the women's ministry, the youth ministry, and the children's ministry. What was missing was one for the men's ministry. One would have to ask themselves visiting the church, does this church genuinely value the men, and are they serious about ministry to men? Are they targeting their men? I've discovered another interesting fact from reviewing churches' websites. Very few websites have anything on the site targeting men. Most will have information on the children and youth ministries, and occasionally you'll find information regarding the women's ministries. Information on men's ministry will be missing. Churches who are targeting the men will take every opportunity to reach and connect with them. I encourage you to use every means possible to show the men they are important to the church's life. Recently, I was invited to attend a men's event sponsored by a church, and during the event, I discovered they were planning a Bible study for their men. I was applauding them for creating another entry point for their men. Then I found out they waited to announce the study 5 days before they were to start. Even more interesting, the Bible study announcement was made only to the men who attended the event, less than 100 from a church of over 2,500 people. Does this sound like a church that is targeting its men? I encourage you to examine what you are doing to reach the men connected with your church, especially those on the fringes, such as the man in church regularly but is not involved in any discipling relationships or even attending men's events. What are you doing to reach these men? Because most churches don't intentionally target men, I wonder if that contributes to most men thinking the church is just for women and children. That is something to think about. Well, this is Mike Sallin. Join me next time on another Men's Ministry Moment. God bless.